Well, you're going to be glad to have the room to yourself now. I've just been in your way.
Not at all. You kept me company. I get bored.
Well, you're not going to be bored for a minute because I have arranged the full service for you. You're going to have a massage, a sauna, checkups with the doctor every single day to help you get back in shape.
At my age, getting in shape is merely a waste of time. And I will get even more bored.
Really are a victim of your own apathy, Daddy. Oh, I've been meaning to tell you, the French have emailed me every single day. They insist that you write your memoirs. What should I do?
Let them insist.
And that's a scene from Youth, starring Sir Michael Caine. Sir Michael, hello, good afternoon. How are you, sir?
I'm great, thank you. And you?
Yes, I'm feeling good. I suppose Happy New Year is still...
Yeah, Happy New Year. Yeah, we're still in January, aren't we?
It's still working. How's the retirement working out then?
It's not very well. I keep trying to retire, but my view is that you don't retire from movies. Movies retire you. You know, I mean, for instance, I did Youth, and then I've just done a film called Going in Style, which is a full feature film.
Okay.
A comedy set in New York with Morgan Freeman and Alan Arkin, you know. And I just finished that. And then every now and then I always do, whenever I get grandchildren or children, I make a movie for them. When my daughter was young, I made the Muppets Christmas Carol for her.
Yeah, great film.
Because I make movies that kids can't go and see, and I have 3 grandchildren now who can't go and see any movies. So the next movie I do is called 4 Kids and It. It is a monster, a cartoon monster. That's me, and the kids are real, so I think they'll love that. And that's the only work I've got. I've got nothing else.
Sounds like quite a lot of work.
Yeah.
So do you actually want to retire, or actually, this acting lark is quite a difficult habit? You don't really want to stop.
No, I don't want to stop. I mean, the thing about being an actor is that times you stop when you're 65 because you're not old and you're too old to carry another hundredweight of coal or something. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's an age when you want to sort of have a rest and get away from a rotten job. I was an amateur actor, which amateur, it means love in French, you know, and I've made a living doing something I did for nothing, although I never told them that. But I so love doing what I do, and if something comes along that I simply can't resist, I would do it. But there's nothing on the horizon at the moment. I'm probably, once I've done, it's going to be an incredible thing because my last movie ever will be 4 Kids and It.
That'll be your last movie ever?
Yeah, it could be if no one offers me a script. Yeah, I'm 83 in March, you know, and there are not a lot of romantic leads for 83-year-olds.
No, that's true. In the paper today, they've got you. They're going to make a movie of the Hatton Garden burglary. Apparently, the provisional title is The Hatton Garden Job, obviously.
Yeah.
And they want you on it. So, but
oh well, that would be. You see, this is something. This is why you say you can't retire. You say, well, I'm too old. They're not going to make a movie about an 83-year-old man. Well, they did in this. And they did it in the Going in Style, which is about 3 old men, and we all live in Brooklyn, Morgan Freeman and Alan Arkin and me. And the bank forecloses the mortgage on our flat, and they're going to sling us out, so we robbed a bank. So, you know, and so I've already sort of done it in a funny way. The 3 old guys robbing a bank, but this is a different, this would be great. And someone told me about it yesterday, and I was sitting in the cab and I said, how many of them were there? And there was a little newsreel in the cab and all their faces came up. And there were 4 of them. But there was a 5th one, I think, where they can't find, who's got all the money. But I immediately thought of Ray Winston and me.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I thought of Bob Hoskins, who would have been fabulous. You know, I wish he'd come back and do it.
You could blow the doors off again.
Yeah, you could blow all the bloody doors off. They blew all the doors off, didn't they?
They did.
I've got a birthday card out last year with a picture of me on it saying you're only supposed to blow the bloody candles out.
Anyway, I mean, age and retirement is kind of relevant for Youth because you play a retired composer and conductor. So Fred Ballinger.
Fred Ballinger.
So explain who he is. Explain who Fred Ballinger is, Michael. And
Fred Ballinger is a composer who and a conductor. And he's asked to, he's written a very famous song, and he's asked to play it for the Queen, and he refuses to do so. and you don't know why. It's not because he doesn't like the Queen or anything, but he has this secret reason. And that's the secret, which I can't give away, a plot of the film. There is a terrible reason that he cannot play this song. And go and see the movie and you'll see what happens.
And most of the movie takes place, overwhelmingly, most of it is in this extraordinary alpine resort.
Yeah.
Where you are,
Yeah.
and Harvey Keitel, who's in an extraordinary cast of people.
Yeah, Rachel Weisz plays my daughter, and there's an old film star played by Jane Fonda, absolutely fabulously.
Yeah, and so an extraordinary cast. And Fred Ballinger is an interesting role to play. I think you've said that this is one of the greatest performances that you've done. Can you just explain a little bit?
It is one of the best performances.
Why you think that?
Because it's as far away from me as you probably could get. I'm the son of a village fish market porter and a Cockney cleaning lady. And I am here a composer of an incredible song by a wonderful American composer called David Lang. And symphony music, and I conduct a symphony orchestra. And my criterion for movie acting is, do I disappear, and does the acting disappear? And for instance, if you were sitting with a friend watching this movie and you said, isn't Michael Caine a good actor? I would have failed, because you should be saying, what's going to happen to Fred now? And that's what happens in this movie. I finally made me disappear and the acting disappear, and you just see the guy. And that's what I think movie acting is all about.
Why does that happen in this movie, though, particularly? Is it you being perfect for the role? Is it the direction?
With me being imperfect for the role, in as much as, you you wouldn't think of a classical composer conductor as me. I'm Alfie, I'm Get Carter, I'm Harry Brown, a Cockney, and it worked out fabulously for me. It's something which I knew was a big test for me, and it worked out wonderfully.
It's funny you say that you wouldn't. It's an interesting role for you to be given because of your background. But if you go back right to the movie, if you go back to
it's
Zulu,
where I started at Zulu,
and you're playing an officer, and
exactly, and the same rule still applies from a class distinction in England. Is the director of Zulu was an American, and I've always said that no English director, even if he was a left-wing communist, would have given me the part of a posh officer in Zulu. And this time, this role was given to me by an Italian director. And it was actually Paolo Sorrentino. And he actually wrote it for me, which surprised me. Really, I was amazed that he'd even heard of me, let alone wrote the script.
Has that happened before? You've had a role written for you specifically?
No. Alfie was one of my big thing that made me a star. I auditioned for Alfie in the theatre and didn't get it. Michael Medwin got it.
So even now, in 2016, a British director or writer wouldn't have written this for you?
No way possible.
So that hasn't changed?
They're not being unkind, it would be silly.
Is it, just before we leave the subject of Zulu, is it, I think we can say that there is a kind of a brief image of Prince Philip in this movie, and
I based it on him, the movement.
Yeah.
The movement. Basically, you if you're an actor, you know about people's body behavior, body language, and I'm very good at body language, and the basic principle of it is that the more powerful you are, the slower you speak, and the less hand gestures you use, because you don't need to get attention. And the less powerful you are in the social thing, the faster you talk, and the more hand gestures you use in order to get attention. And so I was going to play an officer. I knew officers in the army, obviously. I was a soldier. Yeah. And I based it on Prince Philip. And I played the whole thing with my hand behind my back, because he doesn't have to open any doors. He's not afraid of someone attacking him or something. And he doesn't have to wave his hands to get attention if he wants to speak. And so I based it on him. And after the first rushes, Stanley Baker, who was the producer, showed me a message from Paramount, who'd seen the first rushes. It said, fire actor playing Bromhead doesn't know what to do with hands. So there you are. Yeah.
Fred Ballinger he's quite still.
Very still, yeah. He's another powerful person. I mean, socially, he's powerful. He conducts orchestras. The only time he moves his hands is when something's going to happen. And when he does move his hands, something really does happen. Otherwise, why bother, you know?
Did you enjoy the conducting?
Yeah, when I got it right. It took me a month, but I finally got it right.
And how did you get that right? What did you have to do to get
Well,
it?
I had two conductors training me the whole time. And I had an earpiece with people speaking to me. I had a TV down there with people doing it, you know, because I had to be. And eventually, I knew how it was going to be. So I did it. In the end, I did it almost on my own, but not quite. I relied on these two guys a lot. But I must say, when we finished that day, the lead violinist said to me, "You're better than the bloke we had the day before yesterday." I said, "Oh, thank you very much."
When we spoke last, which was for Harry Brown in 2009, I remember you talking a lot about music and how music means a lot to you, and you enjoy listening to music. And there is music, as you've already suggested, there is music at the heart of. You are a conductor and a composer, and the music is stunning in this movie.
Oh, it's fabulous because it's not just classical music. It's wonderful. That opening song by the girl, you know, singing. I love that song, and I love the one that Sumi Jo, who's a Korean, fabulous Korean soprano, sings at the end, which is supposed to be the song that I wrote, but it's actually written by a great American composer called David Lang. And the music from classical to pop in this is absolutely fabulous because Paolo loves music. He just loves it. He sticks it in all over the place for different reasons.
This is Paolo Sorrentino, the director. Is there quite a difference between the movie that you read, the script that you read, and the movie that we're going to see? You know, when you watch this movie back,
he had stuff. Yeah,
because there's some unusual bits.
When I read the script, I found it fascinating. If you see the film, when I saw the film, I thought it was magic, what he'd done with it. Because it's not, believe me, it's not a normal film that you got, you know, boy gets girl, boy loses girl, boy gets girl back. It's not that at all.
No.
And it's a very avant-garde sort of movie. And the other thing is, it's about older people, which is we got a chance because the great success of the Marigold Hotel, you know. They all suddenly, that took $150 million, I think. And they all started investigating that. And they found out that people of what the French call a certain age were fed up with sitting at home watching television and were going out to the movies, and they did. So that's what we're hoping they'll do with this one.
Yes, and lots of jokes about, comments about prostate and going to the loo.
Oh, all sorts of things, yeah. It's very realistic about what old men worry about.
So it's youth being the title, and youth is represented in the movie.
The word youth comes in it from there is a scene in it. I have examination, you know, to see if there's anything wrong with me, and then I have to go to my doctor, and he's going to tell me what's wrong or not. And so I go to my doctor, and I said, well, okay, I'm waiting for the bad news. He said, there's absolutely nothing wrong with you. He said, you know what we call that? I said, no. He said, we call that youth. And that's where the title comes from.
And there's a line that your character says, I think in that scene, where you imply that you're quite mystified as to how you got here, that you remember your early days, but now all of a sudden you're old.
Yeah. Well, that when I said that line in the movie, it struck home a chord with me because I thought, wait a minute, I was 81, I think, when I made the movie, and I thought, I'm 81 now, and about 6 years ago, I was 38. What the hell happened? You know, and it all goes by so fast, you know. And people said to me, how do you feel about old age? I said, well, considering the alternative, fantastic, you know, because, and what Paolo is trying to say, I think, and what I've played is when you get here, ain't going to be so bad to anyone who's young.
Yeah. Well, Sir Michael, it's always great to have you on the show, and we appreciate you coming in. We wish you all the best with your retirement. But it sounds as though you might be making quite a few
I'll
movies.
talk to you in about a year.
Yeah. And maybe if Chris Nolan's got another idea, maybe he'll get in touch.
He's doing a picture about Dunkirk. I can't see myself in there, unless I'm one of those old boys who goes over in the boats to pick them up.
But if Chris Nolan rang you up, you're not going to say no again.
Oh, no. Anything he rang me about, I would play, yeah.
You're going to be working for some time yet, aren't you? Michael Caine, thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.